tall whites. They can do a 40 light year in 5 seconds. And I mean literally 5 seconds. There is a growing body of evidence that the government is not being transparent about what it knows about UAP. Alien reproduction vehicles, or ARVs, being secured within a US government UAP program. There are extraterrestrials working with some of our governments on the earth right now. I received this information from an aerospace source. There are cloned gray drones involved with harvests of tissues and fluids from animals and humans. But the very tall grays are a very old species and are not hostile. They are caught in a quantum field temporal problem having to do with manipulation of time. Then they are trying to solve this problem. The quantum field directly relates to consciousness and how these craft are truly navigating through space, covering long distances in a short period of time, moving point to point through space and other dimensions. You would be surprised how much of this research is now handled by private companies and industries. To know that humans are being abducted and some don't get returned in a friendly manner is very difficult and disturbing to the higher up people involved with managing these problems. And an insertion here about the description that we're dealing with extraterrestrials that move point to point through space. It is a very difficult concept. I've had a discussion with 3 or 4 people who work on these kinds of problems. And the best that I can do to try to help you understand is that if you have a gray with some mission and they want to be 40 light years away, they have technology where they are in control of the manipulation of space and time. And for them to go 40 light years from Earth and not have to spend 40 years doing it, they program, this is my simple way of trying to understand and explain to you. They program a computer and say, we want a resonant frequency point, and then let's say they let the computer at 40.6 light years, and we want you to put another resonant frequency point in dimension 9, and it has to be exact to what is in dimension 3. And then when the computers have done the resonant frequency points, they can be in a craft that is programmed to interact with those kinds of frequency points. And the way it's been explained to me, they're not traveling through space. They're always moving point to point, almost simultaneous. One of these people that told me that he's very aware of what I'm saying is accurate, said that they can, let's say the tall whites, they can do a 40 light year in 5 seconds. And I mean literally 5 seconds. If they're working point to point, dimension to dimension. And it has to do with resonant frequency, that they know how to make a point in space-time that will be unique, and the computers will make another one in another dimension that they select. And when they travel, they don't go here first. They go to dimension 9 first. And that is going to have a resonant frequency that when the computer operates a second in 5 seconds, they go to the resonant frequency point 40 light years from Earth. Now, to a physicist, that may be a clumsy way to explain it, but I have talked with 3 or 4 people who know about all of this. And I think I'm at least giving you the concept that one of the big disconnects on Earth is that our relationship to matter, time, and energy is quite different than what the extraterrestrials are actually doing. And that we have humans that are going on ships with some of them now. And that's the level at which I am getting some of these insights about moving in frequencies, from points of frequency. And I share it with you because it helps me as I talk with people who are dealing, and they are dealing face to face, straight up, not only with non-humans, but with technology that is mind-boggling to where we are as Homo sapien. Only a few weeks ago, in October of 2024, Ian Holling in England called me about the UK Express Tribune publishing this headline: Immaculate Constellation, Pentagon whistleblower reveals a secret UFO program, alleging the military has hidden key information from Congress that includes, quote, a recent revelation by a Pentagon whistleblower who has disclosed the existence of a highly classified government program called, quote, Immaculate Constellation, close quote, which is a wordplay on the Virgin Mary's Immaculate Conception. The leak is reported by 53-year-old Substack journalist Michael Schellenberger, and he writes, quote, there is a growing body of evidence that the government is not being transparent about what it knows about UAPs. The whistleblower's report outlines 7 categories of evidence about unidentified aerial phenomena and images that intelligence collected by U.S. military assets that ensures a high level of confidence in the accuracy and integrity of the data gathered, close quote. The report also mentions, quote, alien reproduction vehicles, or ARVs, being secured within a U.S. government UAP program, and the whistleblower further warned that publishing the name Immaculate Constellation could lead to government surveillance under the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, or FISA. And what that is about, meaning we get these breakthroughs. I, as a reporter, would like very much to talk with some of the sources directly. But we are living in a time where the whistleblower gets something out, whether it's going to be an official congressional hearing or something like this leak. And we still don't have an open access between journalists and people who are trying to get out some information. And therefore, everything is suspect and sort of cracked instead of being straightforward. And I don't know how long it's going to be before we finally get what I'm telling you someday. You will remember this, that everything I'm telling you is true. And now I would like to share more recent January 2025 information that I have received from an aerospace source in which I recently asked him, can you confirm whether or not artificial light has definitely been identified at the TRAPPIST-1 solar system and or other solar systems of Proxima Centauri and or Kepler 186f, LHS 1140b, K2 18b, and Gliese 1214b. Those are the top exoplanet solar areas that, as far as I know, they probably will be confirmed as having artificial light. And I asked my source, if you have a yes for any of these, When do you think that discovery will publicly be reported? I keep hoping the artificial light discovery will crack open the whole big truth that we're not alone in this universe in a positive way, not a negative way, just simply to tell the truth about what we know of artificial light in one or more other planets. Why can that not be done? Why is that not a logical way to open up to the world that our scientific people are searching and that they are confirming artificial light on other planets as we would have lights in the night side of our planet? And do you have, asking one of these sources, and do you have more information about whether U.S. Senator Gillibrand or Congressman Burchett will have the next UFO whistleblower hearing in Washington, and what date? Originally, about 2 or 3 months ago, I was told with great confidence that Senator Gillibrand, by March, was going to have hearings. And we're in February. And unless you guys have new news, I don't know of anybody saying that there's a schedule being laid out that would bring us some honesty in March of 2025 from Congressman Burchett or Gillibrand or who. It keeps changing. It's like you can't get a fix on why can't we get this headline out? Why is this happening like a cat and mouse game? The man I ask about, are we going to have hearings again with Senator Gillibrand in March? Quote, Linda, what I can confirm is that artificial light has been both detected and recorded since the initial discovery of the grouping of those specific 6 exoplanet star systems. So that what I'm talking to you today, of which it may feel like I don't know anything about this, these strange star names, but if we don't begin catching up as citizens to what is actually happening, it's going to be, the disconnect is going to get too large. And I feel like all of you, even if you think that these names sound boring and we're just talking about suns 40 light years away, no, it's way more than that. This has got to be one of the paths through to the final huge headline that we're not only not alone, but there are extraterrestrials working with some of our governments on the earth right now. Now, one exception has been highlighted to me of which artificial light planets all have artificial light. And the exception is a planet called K2-18b. And when artificial light was first detected in these systems, my source says we monitored them around the clock. And currently we still do, to determine orbital mechanics of the light-emitting bodies. We make sure that the light is artificial by observing it over many days to eliminate any other sources of light, such as sunlight reflecting off other solar bodies or moons, even large asteroids that are close to the planet being observed. Once we clear that data point hurdle, we then start spectroscopy analysis to determine wavelength to make sure it is not a natural phenomena like a volcanic eruption. We then trend our observations over many weeks, sometimes over months, to literally see if that light source is coming on and off at timed intervals similar to what we do here on Earth. For example, a large oil refinery turning on lights at night during plant night operations. All the planet bodies except for K2-18b have specific intervals of lights being turned on and off, especially during sunset, like a large city on Earth. That's a direct quote. This is what our scientists know. They're working and living with studying planets that obviously have lights coming on and off, and we are still not told officially. We are and have been observing these same type of lighting intervals. The spectral signature of the light has gas compounds that are artificial, which is similar to our sodium vapor lighting that we use here on Earth. At those specific star systems, we have also detected a signature of mercury vapor lighting. I have it on good authority that Senator Gillibrand will be the lead on the next hearing, and that Trump will have several other individuals, both from Space Force and JSOC, the Joint Special Operations Command. They are, from my point of view, they're the ones who have their hand on the gear shift, JSOC. JSOC is one of the most secret military intelligence units in the United States that carries out special operations missions. Quote from a JSOC identity. We now have sworn testimony from high-ranking officers admitting to these facts. NIH, non-human intelligences are real. Recovered crashed craft that are manufactured by off-planet civilizations are real. The United States possesses advanced technologies in space exploration and gravitational field technology that are real and have been used as far back as 1957. We have perfected gravitational field technology to the point that we are now manipulating time and starting to understand temporal motion and temporal time travel with the help of beings like the tall whites. We can biolocate physical matter instantaneously to any point we wish. This is what I was talking about, the resonant frequency points. You have to think of if you were playing pool and you want a cushion shot, and everybody here knows that, and you're going to hit this side in order to have a ball go here or here. That's when they talk about biolocate physical matter instantaneously to any point. It is using dimensions and frequency to move point to point. It's no longer travel through, it's point-to-point resonant frequencies. It's like this gets going vibration here, and something over here, 40 light years away, has only that specific mathematical signature, and they have to move a dimension in order somehow to link these two frequencies. But once they do it, they're traveling from Earth to a different resonant frequency in a different dimension that fast. And if you haven't thought about this before, I'm not surprised, but I'm suggesting everybody should start, don't run away from physics that seems complex. Sincerely try to read and understand some of what is being put out to the public now, even if it is not being given the context by the government that this is real, as the JSOC source gave me these sentences. Also, on your other question about the drones, this is a JSOC source. I can now tell you what I know as factual data. There is a tactical field nuclear weapon that is missing from an arsenal in Ukraine that folks at both JSOC and the Round Table in the Pentagon believe has been smuggled into the east coast of the United States. The larger drones have advanced radioactive detection capabilities that are extremely sensitive to detect this missing nuclear weapon. These larger drones are flying and have flown in a grid pattern, searching for this particular weapon. They fly at night due to the sensitivity of the radiation detection systems on board. And this is why everyone in the government is in denial, so as not to panic the public. Close quote. Now I would like to share with you, it's a very recent proton mail that I have received from a very trustworthy aerospace source of the last 4 years. Quote, TRAPPIST-1E is the targeted planet with the full potential to announce that life is outside of our own planet. TRAPPIST-1E. Planet BLC-1 is also a highly targeted planet with signs of artificial light coming from its surface. What most normal people would not know is the full instrumentation aboard the James Webb Space Telescope. Most of it is public knowledge, but certainly we have, this is from somebody who's working with JSOC and NSA, DIA, CIA. We have 6 instrument packages that are not public knowledge at all. Raytheon and SES are the prime 2 companies that came together to build those deep space instruments aboard the JWST. Linda, this is my wheelhouse, satellite engineering and aerospace engineering for deep space missions. Mainly spectral imaging and background spectral analysis of atmospheric conditions and gases. I can unequivocally confirm that TRAPPIST-1E and BLC-1 both have extremely high levels of atmospheric oxygen and nitrogen, making for a breathable atmosphere in the correct percentages to sustain life as we know life as carbon-based life forms. That is a really significant sentence. This is one big reason for the excitement and expenditure for further research and development with these 2 systems. All 6 of the list of planets of the stellar systems that I sent you earlier are positive targets for artificial light detection by the James Webb Space Telescope imaging systems aboard. This data is captured aboard the JWST on those 6 planets, and it was run through literally thousands of possible false hits before the algorithms tagged those planets, those specific planets, as factual data confirming with an accuracy of 98.00006% accuracy. These are planets that have artificial light and that our government knows it, and they are studying these planets, and we should all have the same information. from my point of view. These types of data and these hits are unheard of in our search with aerospace applications of other stellar systems or objects. They're looking all over the place. To say that there is much fairly close by excitement for this, I've got a shadow that suddenly came. Currently, we know for sure of separate continental land masses, oceans that cover about 65% of the planet, an atmosphere that almost matches ours on Earth, except for the fact of several rare gases in very small quantities. We're talking about the TRAPPIST-1 and the BLC-1 as having environment, atmosphere, artificial lighting, all recognizable here on our own planet. There are two land masses that have the majority of artificial light, and artificial light is being detected around the equator portions of this mass planet. The energy sources that may be powering the culture of the inhabitants of that planet BLC-1 has also shown similar characteristics that indicate life and energy production sources as well. The discovery of these planets in various systems with confirmation of intelligence based on the production of artificial light and nuclear energy systems that they've detected on these planets is not classified surprisingly high, as you would expect from JSOC and contractors. This gives some insight into why I think this will be used as the way to make an announcement from either NASA or the ESA, or a combined disclosure statement from both. This is my insight only, Linda. The noise going round is, this may be, though, what happens. On a second note, we have 8 more whistleblowers that are far above David Grush in rank and exposure to the extraterrestrial program that will be made public by the spring of 2025. I've been told now, yesterday, that I'm saying this to you guardedly because things just keep changing there in Washington all the time, that Senator Gillibrand in March may have the next serious hearing, and that's what they're referencing here. Will be made public by the spring of 2025. Several have already made their rounds in getting approved by various committees and agencies talking about these highly sensitive David Grush type witnesses. I find it interesting how many have gotten approved by their respective departments, so I expect that we are getting closer to a true open court press announcement that we are definitely not alone. God, may it happen. Yeah. Do you share my feeling of an absolute abject immorality to be on a planet in which a tiny, tiny, tiny percentage, at least since World War II, if not before, have used extraterrestrial knowledge, keeping our planet as it has evolved with Homo sapien, always in the dark, always dumb. And when I think of the interview that I did, 5 hours, it's the only 5-hour recorded interview I've ever done in my career. And it was with William Mills Tompkins, who had worked for the US Department of the Navy during World War II because he was a savant. He was a teenager who had the ability to look at a plane, a tank, a ship, and he could go and out of balsa wood, make exact models. And Bob Wood, a dear friend of mine who came up through aerospace, he passed, God bless him, Bob Wood. But he is the one who went the extra mile. In addition, I had done a 5-hour interview and Bob did books. And I ended up being able to talk to William Mills Tompkins about his work as a teenager and beyond in those 5 hours. And he is the one who gave me the most details about how it was evolving in World War II, that there could be something like, eventually, Dwight D. Eisenhower as president and general ending up meeting extraterrestrials out of Palm Springs at Edwards Air Force Base, underground, signing a treaty that would give the extraterrestrials that the general, Dwight Eisenhower, was communicating with, and would give the ETs the right to mutilate animals and abduct certain humans, and that there were reasons given and there were timelines.
If you enjoyed this, make sure to watch the next video on Awaken Zone. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell, but you won't want to miss what's coming next.